Jules on this, who was the national chairperson of the Welfare Rights Organization. What I'm really going to talk about is slavery. We were property, bought and sold. You know how women got here? They weren't interested in bringing women. They wanted men because they needed somebody to help build capital. The only time women got important is when black men started having relationships with white women. They said, oh no, we can't have this. We got to bring them some women because we need to reproduce slave labor. Black women, that's what we were. We were property bought and sold, forced into bondage to create a labor force for the slave masters. Why should they go on the auction block and have to pay for slaves when they could bring African women over here and have them cohabitate with the black men and they had a free labor force? The matriarch is a myth when it comes to us. They wanted black men. The only reason we got here is because they needed free labor. You know when you get pregnant and you give birth, what do they call it? Labor. They needed free labor. And they exploited us. One, we became sex slaves for the master. Actually, it's called rape. Two, slaves for the wife of the slave master. Did you ever see the movie The Help? If you didn't see the movie, did you read the book, The Help? We were sent here to give birth to help the slave master's wife. We weren't sent here to go to school. We weren't sent here to become freeholders. We weren't sent here to do community organizers. We weren't sent here to be lawyers. We weren't sent here to be singers, dancers, or anything. And they was hoping white women like Barbara would be against us. We were sent here to be property. And that's all they intended us to do. But what did we do? We decided, Harriet Tubman said, oh, I'm gonna free them all. I'm gonna free them all, and if they don't come with me, I got a gun and I'm gonna make them. And there it is. Because these events are very good. They're very good. But we have become and understand we are not inhuman. We are good people. We are part of the property. Like W. Du Bois said, black people were property. We weren't human. We were just property, sold from and so were the women. And interracial marriages was a no-no. So even white women hated us. Because they hated us because we were raped. They didn't get it. They didn't get it. They hated us because they were taught to hate us. And thank God for you, Barbara. This is a problem that we have never wanted to deal with and we must deal with. Black families, when they said the matriarch, we didn't come looking for work. We came shackled with blankets covered with blood. We did not come here looking for work. We tried to go back home. I'm gonna have a poem I'm gonna read at the end of this. But we were third-class citizens by race, class, and gender. Nobody wants to love us. We were sent here to be the slaves. We built this country on our backs. was a slave to the master, and we was a slave to the master's wives. We cooked their food, we raised their children. When we couldn't raise our own, we was called what they call it, the help. And we cannot forget that. We have to understand, and you know what? Many black women, like many Negroes, as we call them, who did not understand that we had to fight for freedom. The Negro, the house Negro. The Negro, my son is trying to bring this city to another place, but the Negro won't let him. The Negro is involved. It's not just white people. It is ignorant Negroes. Get on the correct side or get back. Fight or get back. The other thing I want to say is the suffrage movement. You remember when only people had the right to vote was rich white men. Women, even white women couldn't vote. No white women couldn't vote. Men without property could not vote. And these were white men. Hey, in 1964 is the first time. You know why we couldn't vote? Even though Sojourner Truth actually fought with the suffrage movement. Because she said, ain't I a woman? Oh no, honey, you was not a woman, you was black. And then when the suffrage movement, women got the right to vote, guess who couldn't vote? Black people. Man or woman. Even though we fought, and Sojourner did, even though we fought for this right, we did not get the right to vote. Racism is still alive and well. And guess who else is alive and well? Negroes. Negroes are alive and well. Do you remember the Republican Party was the party of Lincoln? Oh, once the Emancipation Proclamation came forward, and y'all got Googles, I didn't have them, but y'all got Googles. Read Frederick Douglass's position on Emancipation Proclamation at the Great Hall in Cooper Union. And you will see, they always talk about, well, Lincoln and Abraham Lincoln had fights. Yes, they did. But if you Google up tonight when you go home and read what Frederick Douglass said on the day that the Emancipation Proclamation, honey, you will see all them arguments went away. They went away. He said it was the greatest thing that ever happened. I'm not telling you this to lie to you. If you don't believe me, go home and Google up, what was it, Cuba Union, the Great Hall, what Frederick Douglass said. And you know Frederick don't like the 4th of July because he said, what does it mean to a slave? And I'm here to tell you that black, Latin, Asian, white, women and men, we have to understand we're in the same fight. We're in the same fight. And I don't care what music you like. I wish you would like jazz though, it wouldn't hurt. But the suffrage movement, could we vote? Why we couldn't vote? We was black. We didn't get the black women, like black men didn't get the right to vote to win. 1964. And if you look at the history that led up to that, don't let nobody fool you. There are Negroes who are not on our side. You know, we came with the Negroes in the 60s. When we was talking about black power and guess what? Black power don't work. You know what I'm saying? You know when I say that? Wilson Good was black and he burned up Osage. Black a human being works. I don't know if you know about the Congolese people, Patrice Lumumba, but it was an African who killed Patrice. Color is not the question. The question is, whose side are you on? Stay on the side of the working class. Stay on the side of the people who are willing to fight back. Stay on the side of people who love you, whether they're black, Latin, Asian, or white. This is a class question. These people will kill you. They will let your children get dead. And they will not do a thing. I support Baraka not because he's my son, because he's on the correct side. Do not let him be a one-term mayor. Get out here. Fight for our lives. Do what we have to do. Don't let them do what they did to Malcolm, to Dr. King, to John Kennedy. You know, John Kennedy was the first Catholic. These people are evil. They don't even allow you to believe in your own God. And then let's say this, the gods are fighting. When the gods stop fighting, maybe the people will stop fighting. I ask the gods to quit fighting and stand up for humanity. That's what we're about. Black, Latin, Asian, white. And I love you all. And you should learn. I can't say you should. We love our people. And our people are who? Black, Latin, Asian, and white. Look, we came on the slave trade. We don't know. Let me tell you this. Let me read my piece. You don't know who your ancestors are. And I don't care what Skip Gates and none of them people tell you. You're still, because some of us didn't keep Bibles. We couldn't keep them. They was burned up. This is called slave trade. African slaves didn't come looking for work. Pepper and yam, goober nuts and watermelon, roots and seed people. We came shackled, covered with blankets of blood, came trying to return. In our dreams, we walked the water, grew wings, trying to go back home. Why don't you swing down, sweet child, stop and let us ride. We hear chariots in our songs, stayed with guns in our backs, blues in our souls, escape in our bones. Soul like dirt, born like fertilizer, sweat came like rain. Land grew white with cotton. Labor made the oppressor's king. Didn't sing songs, tap dance, and joy of bondage. We worshiped the night, the North Star. Stole away into the dark. Armed ourselves with drums, gods, and guns. Looked around plantations, looking for freedom ways. Why don't you swing down, sweet cherry stuff, and let us ride? No drop heads, no scraping feet, no waiting for Abraham. Took their passions, fought wars that carried freedom slogans, signs of promise. Sun-baked people with red clay ways. Came from far and near, spitting fire, harboring weapons, in all ways, looking for freedom's way. Go till it on the mountain, over the hills, in everywhere. Go till it on the mountain. We won't be no slave.